Well, hello and welcome to the InfoGov Hot Seat. I'm your host, Jim Merrifield, and I'm here live from ARMA's Federal Summit here in Reston, Virginia. I'm joined with my guest here, Con Leong, CEO and co-founder of ZL Technologies. Welcome, Con.
Thank you for having me. As he said, my name's Con Leong, co-founder of ZL Technologies based out of Silicon Valley, California. We've been in business for over 26 years. Primarily helping the Fortune 500, actually more like the Fortune 100, with petabytes and tens of petabytes of data, unstructured data to manage. Unstructured data would include the likes of Word documents, PDFs, and the like. Email is a big one. Chats, team chats, instant messaging, SMS text, and all of that, which, by the way, is also all 100% human data, which then relates to all of the governance obligations that go with it. I'll address that in a minute or two.
Yeah, you got a lot. Your company's handling a lot of things these days, especially with the emergence of generative AI. So before we get into that conversation, though, and about the event, why don't you share with the audience one fun fact about yourself, maybe something personal that people don't know about you?
One rather arcane area of interest that most people don't know about would be my interest in exploring the concept and philosophy of wabi-sabi. That's a term in Japanese. It's practiced in Japan. And the core tenet is that we should not just focus on perfection, because imperfection is part of perfection. To explain that, if you go to some of the toniest sushi bars in Tokyo, where cover charges would need a mortgage, they would serve you exquisite tea in slightly imperfect cups, and each cup has its own distinct flaws, if you will. And that's just a philosophy that most important things in life are not only flawed but also incomplete. And that really helps you address and embrace and manage a whole lot of things in life that may not be to your satisfaction.
Well, thank you for sharing that. You know, it's good to learn something a little personal about guests on this podcast. So let's get into the summit. We've been walking the floors, right, for the morning, the afternoon. Is there anything that stuck out to you this morning, maybe by any of the speakers or the conversations that you've had here at the summit?
I think that the public sector is moving faster, but I think the breakneck speed of AI in the marketplace hasn't really hit with full impact as it has in the private sector. I'm pretty sure that tsunami will catch up, but there's a whole lot of things in records management, for example, that will need to be changed and rethought in this age of Gen AI. And the link is that records keeping takes care of the unstructured data, which, by the way, is also going to be core and central to AI strategies, because what you use to train the AIs, it's all of the unstructured data in the records repositories.
Makes a lot of sense. So at ZL Technologies, what are you most focused on when we think about the federal sector? Is there a specific issue that your customers are trying to solve?
It is to answer some of the obligations in the federal sector for all of this data. For example, you have FOIA obligations. For example, you need to transfer your records data to NARA, National Archives, which, by the way, happens to also be one of our customers. And this kind of data also goes on to other obligations, such as for supporting litigation, e-discovery, and also requires to be life cycle managed And there's also new obligations such as privacy laws and regulations. So all of these are what we call information governance obligations, and they need to be addressed as one. Typically, they come in as silos for most agencies, but the silos don't work because of the sheer volume of data. For the silos to sync up the data, the API calls which are needed would simply crash and burn with that volume. So now the new paradigm is to provide all of these obligations as one unified system so that one motion does it all. Pretty much what happened with ERP data back in the 1980s.
Yeah, breaking down those silos is definitely the key to success. So let me ask you, Khan, if you could give one piece of advice to a federal records officer today, what would it be?
I would say two things in the main. Put on your high beams and grab onto the steering wheel with both hands, because high tech itself naturally moves fast. With AI, it's no longer at 65 miles per hour. It's probably careening at 200 miles plus. So with that kind of speed and the velocity, you really have to look further ahead down the road, or you're going to crash into something. And it should affect your decision making also, in that you should try to avoid the short-term ad hoc solutions or point solutions. Try and look further down the pike, because it's moving so fast you may have to replace those point solutions within a year. That would be a total waste of time and energy and resources. That's the one thing I would say everyone should do, and the private sector is doing that very, very religiously. Expand your planning horizon and move fast, but go with a platform approach, not a point solution.
Yeah, that's great advice. And you heard it here first to our audience, right? That advice from Con Leong from ZL Technologies here at ARMA's Federal Summit in Reston, Virginia. And Con, thank you so much for joining us on the hot seat today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, my pleasure. If you want more information, please look up our website, www.zlti.com.
Perfect. We'll have to check it out. Thank you, Con. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.